If you get attacked on the street and you try to hit the guy in the nuts, you might end up straight in the hospital. Or if you think muscle memory is going to save you when you have a knife on your throat, you might be fooling yourself. Most of the things you believe about martial arts are just myths made up by Hollywood or by people who don't really know what they're talking about. Today, we're busting 8 of the biggest lies that you probably believe as well. And myth number 7 is the most dangerous of them all because it can literally cost your life on the street. Let's get into it. There is this general perception that if most martial arts originated in Asia, the Asians are automatically the best practitioners and teachers on the planet. In reality, the mat and the street don't care about your ethnicity. Efficiency depends strictly on how pragmatic your training is. It doesn't matter what corner of the world you're in, but how often you spar, how intensely you train, and how much you test your techniques under pressure. Modern methodology in the West has already proven that you can produce elite fighters and coaches absolutely anywhere as long as you rely on science and realism. Nobody is disputing Bruce Lee's genius or the massive impact he had on the world, but the concept of an invincible human being does not exist. Neither Bruce Lee, nor the legendary Jinjin Funakoshi, nor any other master in history was unbeatable. Nobody is Goku in real life. The human body has limits, and in a real fight, there are just too many variables. Besides fatigue, injuries, or luck, even an exceptional fighter can be completely thrown off by a style of fighting that is brand new or totally unknown to them. If you are only used to ring distance and you run into an unorthodox style or a street dynamic you never experienced, all your setups can go right out the window. The true value of Bruce Lee does not lie in the myth of his invincibility, but in the brilliant way he revolutionized training and popularized martial arts globally. Ever since the explosion of MMA, it has become a huge trend on YouTube to make fun of Aikido. Is it useless in the cage? Absolutely. But the purpose of Aikido was never the ring or brutal self-defense. From my point of view, the real value of this discipline lies in its deep philosophy and conflict management. Aikido doesn't just teach you how to physically neutralize an attack, but how to manage aggression on a psychological and emotional level before it even escalates. It teaches you not to offer blind resistance, but to understand the opponent's intention in order to defuse the situation. A lot of practitioners got into Aikido precisely to find their inner peace and mental discipline, not to fight in a cage. In fact, when Master Ueshiba created Aikido, his top disciples were already highly advanced black belts in other brutal martial arts. That was my journey as well. I was already a black belt in Karate and Ju-Jitsu when I started Aikido, and maybe that's why I see it through a completely different lens. The goal of this martial art is entirely different, focusing on control and the peaceful resolution of an aggression. Now, probably some Aikido fans will jump to say, yes, but we don't fight, we just redirect the other person's energy. It sounds poetic and spiritual, but in reality, it's just an illusion. Even if it's not designed for the ring, Aikido is a complete martial art that contains strikes, called temi, throws, and a complete school of falling. Even so, the idea of relying completely on the opponent's force will leave you flat on your back. In reality, using your opponent's force means knowing exactly when to go with their movement and when you have to resist with absolute firmness. If you are fluid all the time, you'll become a simple puppet in the hands of the attacker. Here we have a huge confusion due to the popularity of modern BJJ. Many people think Jiu-Jitsu only means rolling around on the mat. Wrong. Traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, meaning the art of the samurai, is one of the most complex and violent martial arts in history. You don't just play on the ground there. You train with weapons. You learn harsh throws, strikes, and restraint techniques. The joint locks in traditional Jiu-Jitsu are not meant to make you tap out, but to completely destroy your joint on the battlefield. The ground was only a tiny part of a much darker arsenal. If a ninja spy dressed in pitch black from head to toe during the day, they would get arrested in the first 5 minutes. Historically, shinobi spies disguised themselves as ordinary people, a peasant, a monk, or a merchant selling his goods. They simply blended into the crowd. And on night missions, pure black actually reflects moonlight and creates a harsh rigid silhouette in the dark. To camouflage themselves, they use shades of ash gray, dark brown, or dark navy blue, colors that melt naturally into the shadows. So, where did the black outfit come from? It's purely a Hollywood invention. Filmmakers needed a cool, mysterious look, so they created the cinematic ninja. It has nothing to do with real world stealth and everything to do with ticket sales. We have reached the most dangerous myth of all, muscular memory saving you on the street. How many weekend instructors haven't told you, repeat this technique 500 times and you will do it instinctively when you're attacked? That is a lie. The moment you are attacked for real and adrenaline floods your body, your brain enters survival mode and will never be able to execute complicated wrist locks or artistic spins. Muscle memory only works if you have tested that technique under massive stress and with real resistance from your partner. And finally, the most common advice you hear in self-defense. Just kick in between the legs. The truth is, this isn't a magic button that instantly wins a fight. It all depends on the situation. If you're already in a chaotic back and forth fight and your opponent expects it, relying on this single strike is a massive gamble. Their natural survival reflex will instantly make them pull their hips back or block it, and an attacker full of adrenaline might not even feel it right away. However, it can be highly effective in a different scenario. For a smaller person or a woman facing an overconfident attacker, acting submissive to lower his guard and then delivering a sudden explosive kick between the legs is a brilliant way to shock your attacker. It buys those crucial seconds needed to escape. So, it's not a useless move, but it's not a magical cure either. Real self-defense is about the element of surprise and knowing when to create your opening. Martial arts are incredible, but they must be viewed through the lens of realism, not action movies. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video, and remember, the best fight is always the one you manage to avoid. Stay safe.